Welcome to Barrie Baycats baseball. Welcome to Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV. We're finally back. This is an exhibition game between the Baycats and the Thornhill Reds of the GTBL. My name is Julius Hearn. Alongside me is Sam O'Coin. And it's great to be back at the ballpark here, but it is quite wet. It rained for a little bit the past hour before first pitch is set to be thrown. Grounds crews just pulling off the tarps from the mound and the home plate area. So a bit of a few minutes late of a start than expected today, but we should be underway shortly. It's looking to be a wet one possibly throughout the game as well. Still seeing a 70% chance of showers throughout this afternoon. So it might be something to affect the gameplay this afternoon, but we'll have to wait and see. The rain has kind of stayed off the past 10 minutes or so. So wouldn't be surprised if it started to come down again, but we're in the clear as of right now. We should be getting going in about 10 minutes time. We're just about to get underway here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Barrie Baycats hosting the Thornhill Reds, the reigning champion of the Greater Toronto Baseball League. We'll give you the starting lineup for the Thornhill Reds. Leading off is Kravis Batts, the center fielder, then Zach Lamprey, the shortstop, number 2, Jesse Fishbaum in the 3 spot, playing right field. The DH, Harrison Lamprey, is in the cleanup spot. Anthony Silvera is playing 3rd, batting 5th. Batting 6th is Arhenis Paz, the second baseman. Ben Teplin, the first baseman, in the 7th spot. Patrick Orr, the catcher, batting 8th. And Jack Gagliardi rounds out the order, playing left field today.
Good afternoon, Barrie Baycats fans, and welcome to Vintage Throne Stadium for the newest edition of Barrie Baycats Baseball. This afternoon's exhibition contest features the visiting Thornhill Reds and your Barrie Baycats. Here are the starting lineups. First for the Thornhill Reds, managed by Nolan Revin. Batting first, the center fielder, number 8, Kravis Batts. Batting second at shortstop, number 15, Zach Lamprey. Batting third in right field, number 27, Jesse Fishbaum. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 1, Harrison Lamprey. Batting fifth at third base, number 13, Anthony Silvera. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 10, Agnes Paz. Batting seventh at first base, number 22, Ben Teplin. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 4, Patrick Orr. Batting ninth in left field, number 14, Jack Gagliardi. On the mound this afternoon for the Reds, pitcher number 32, Mac Major. And now the starting lineup for your Barrie Baycats, managed by Josh Matlow. Batting first, the center fielder, number 9, Kenny Ejo. Batting second, the shortstop, number 6, Kyle Maves. Batting third in left field, number 2, Ricky Phillips. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 27, Ryan Rio. Batting fifth at first base, number 20, Nolan Mackie-Brodo. Batting sixth at third base, number 55, Hayden Jinko. Batting seventh at second base, number 35, Zach Orchard. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 44, Tyler Plumpton. And batting ninth in right field, number 38, Brandon Hillier. On the mound this afternoon for your Baycats, starting pitcher, number 31, Benitez. Here are the umpires for today's contest. Calling the balls and strikes, we have Ryan Jackson. And handling the bases, Dana Case. Fans, we ask you to please rise if you are able to, and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you.
Look up and look down.
Just one moment, we're having a technical difficulty. We appreciate your patience.
We are ready for first pitch here at Vintage Throne Stadium for Barrie Baycats baseball exhibition game between the Baycats and the Thornhill Reds. My name is Julius Hearn. Alongside me is Sam O'Coin. And Sam, it's so great to be back at the ballpark finally. We're just under a week away from the IBL season officially starting for the Baycats, and lots of storylines heading into this one.
There definitely is, Julius. As soon as last season ended, preparations for 2024 started right away, and we have 8 new players joining the Baycats this year. 7 of them are at the ballpark today. We should be able to see them in the game. Noah Hall should be joining the Baycats in late May. He's just finishing his season at college. Now, Julius, we've got some changes going on in this game, so we're going to see at least 7 pitchers in this game. And we're speaking with manager Josh Matlow this morning. He says that almost every inning we're going to see a new arm on the mound for the Baycats. And what do you think? What do you think we should be looking for in these new arms as they finally get to pitch for the Baycats?
I think it's really just important for them to get some game experience. We saw them meeting night 2 nights ago. Some of them threw a bullpen. It's great to see just the guys kind of getting loose again. And Juan Benitez is on the mound starting this one for the Baycats. Sam, what can you tell me about him?
Well, Juan Benitez is a guy who's going to give you a solid start every time he comes out onto the mound. Last season, he was Barrie's number 2 starter behind ace Frank Garces. Pitched well for the Baycats in the playoffs. He had a couple instances where he had to come out of the bullpen. I remember last year against Kitchener right here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Aiden Russell opened for 3 innings, and Benitez finished things off in a 4-3 Baycats win. So you know that Juan Benitez is going to give you all he's got. He's only going to pitch 1 or 2 innings here today, so let's see who he gives manager Josh Matlow.
Well, let's get things started here. Travis Batts is going to step in for the Reds to lead it off today.
Center fielder number 8, Travis Batts.
Batts steps in. He's a guy that you can really expect solid offensive production from year to year. Surprised this guy already isn't playing in the IBL the way he was hitting last year. Hit .326 for the Reds in another championship season in the Greater Toronto Baseball League for that club.
It was the MVP of the playoffs for Thornhill in a win versus Leaside.
Shows bunt on the first pitch and fouls it off out of play.
And we'll get to him in a bit, but Mac Major as well. He pitched in that 5-4 win clinching game for Thornhill. He went the complete game, and the Reds won their 2nd championship in a row. They've won 6 championships out of the last 9.
0-1 delivery from Benitez. Down low for ball 1. We're actually going to get to talk to the Reds manager, Nolan Revin. Stick around for that. Bottom of the 4th inning. We'll be able to talk to him about the championship season they had last year and the year before. They're strike 2 to Batts. And he's back in the box right away. Benitez the 1-2 delivery. Down low and in. Plumpton blocked that one. It's 2-2. We get to see a lot of new Baycats faces today throughout this ball game. Swung on and driven to left field. Rick Phillips can't get there, and Travis Batts has a leadoff single.
And that's what Travis Batts is going to do for you out of that leadoff spot. We mentioned his success last year in the Greater Toronto Baseball League with the Thornhill Reds. We see it right there with the leadoff single.
We saw Rick Phillips out there in left field. Sam, can you give me the defense for the Barrie Baycats this afternoon?
Yes, I can. You're going to see Rick Phillips, Kenise Ejo, and Brandon Hillier left to right. At third is Hayden Jaco, Mavis at short, Zachary Orchard, new Baycat at second, Nolan Macabroda is at first, and Tyler Plumpton is behind the plate for Juan Benitez.
So plenty of new Baycats in this starting lineup already. And a few more to be seen. You mentioned Brandon Hillier getting the start in right field today. Brad McQuinn was slated to be the starting right fielder today, but unavailable at the start of game time, so surely we'll see him for the home opener next week against the Maple Leafs.
And Brandon Hillier is a guy you can see play in the field sometimes. He's mostly coming out of the bullpen as one of Barrie's elite closers that they featured last season. But today, Brad McQuinn a late scratch, and Hillier had to go out there. So we'll see what he can do.
2-1 from Benitez is a called strike. 2-2 here on Zach Lamprey. Bats is a threat to run. So the Baycats have to be wary here. 2-2. Just outside. Count is full. You mentioned Brandon Hillier again. Very athletic guy. And for a pitcher, he's one of those guys that you might see pinch run if Josh Mallett was ever needing someone off the bench. And there's a walk to Lamprey. So the first two reach for the Reds here in the first inning. But we saw this last year as well for Baycats. Juan Benitez is one of those pitchers where if he gets off to a kind of a rough start in the first inning or two, he is one that is able to bounce back. So not unlike Juan Benitez, but he is only going to be pitching the one inning this afternoon.
Nice to see Juan Benitez work quickly with these next three batters. Obviously, he's going to be only working a few innings, but you'd like to make sure the pitch count doesn't get too high in an exhibition game.
Jesse Fishbaum's the number 3 hitter for the Reds, the right fielder. Down early 0-1. On the ground, foul, third base side towards the dugout. Nolan Macabrota started at first base today for the Baycats. A new guy. We'll talk a bit more about him later. He's from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, actually. But over there, he's really letting Lamprey with a massive lead at first base. Oh, 2 pitch. Flown out to right field. Hillier's got to make a play on this one, and he's under it. Makes the catch. Kravis Bats tags up. He will get to third. No problem. So runners on the corners with 1 out for the Reds in the first inning.
The designated hitter, number 1, Harrison Lamprey.
So Zach's brother Harrison will step in. Cleanup hitter, designated hitter today for the Reds.
And if you didn't notice, Harrison and Zach are brothers, both Lamprey brothers on the Thornhill Reds.
Low and away from Benitez, 1-0, pardon me.
Harrison's brother Zach has already walked in this inning, so we'll see what Harrison can do after his brother.
Fastball in there for a strike from Benitez, 1-1.
That one had some zip on it.
Seems like whenever you get further in an inning, you kind of start to get worked up a bit more if you're getting some trouble. Push yourself a bit more to get out of the inning. On the ground, other way and through. Kravis Bats will score an early 1-0 lead for the Reds.
And that's just a good approach, taking the ball the other way, taking what Benitez gave him, and the Reds have a 1-0 lead now.
Almost looked like he got jammed on that pitch as well, but he managed to fight it off through the right side. You can tell Zach Orchard at second base wasn't really playing all that towards first base. But Anthony Silvera, now the batter for the Reds. He's the third baseman today. Takes that pitch outside. So Benitez in some trouble early. He got the first out. Double play is in order. Another ball. Great base running there from Zach Lamprey. He moves up. Tyler Plumpton unable to get to that one quick enough, and Lamprey moves himself 90 feet away from another Reds run. That one high. It's 3-0 to Anthony Silvera.
And for the Reds here, it's going to be all about capitalizing. You know you're not going to get as much opportunities as you may get in a Greater Toronto Baseball League game, as the IBL is a more competitive league. So the Reds have got to capitalize on this, and they're doing a good job so far.
Another walk. So the bases will be loaded here for Argenis Paz, the second baseman. Double play still in order for the Baycats, however, 1 out.
Second baseman, number 10, Argenis Paz.
Now, Sam, you mentioned them having to capitalize on their chances. We did see it a couple years ago, a 12-11 game here when they had the exhibition in 2022 between these clubs, and Thornhill won that game. A high-scoring one. Last year, low-scoring, 4-2 Baycats win in 2023. So technically, you could say it's a rubber match between these two clubs. A three-game series, so to speak. 2-0 here to Paz.
Juan Benitez struggling a bit with his command. We saw him struggle a few times last year with the command, but mostly he was quite all over the strike zone.
2-0 pitch on the ground on the right side. Macabrota over to second for one, and he can't get the out at first, but a run will score, and the Reds put up a 2-spot here in the first.
First baseman, number 22.
And with the infield back, we knew that Macabrota was going to get the lead runner at second base. He wasn't trying to try and go home with that one. Just take the out.
So here's Ben Teplin, the first baseman. Runners in the corners, and he takes that one up and in. 1-0. Benitez really taking his time now as opposed to when he was pitching from the stretch to start the inning, and swing and a miss there. Evens up the count.
And for Benitez, you only got one more out to get, so just give it slow strikes.
Not a whole lot of pressure in this game, especially if you know you're pitching one inning. On the ground, foul. There's a laser beam at the Baycats dugout, but
watch out if you're down there.
Looks like everyone's okay. Hit the bars that were in at the railing in front of the dugout there. Scary scene, but luckily everybody is okay. A 1-2 here on Teplin. On the ground is short. Maves has an easy play, and he can't get to the bag in time. That little bobble gave Paz that extra opportunity to get to second. Another run scores. I would imagine that's an error on Maves. Not what you want to see in the first inning. 3-0 Thornhill.
The catcher, number 4, Patrick Orr.
And that play will be scored an error on Kyle Maves.
So Patrick Orr, the catcher, steps in. The 8th hitter of the inning already. First pitch of ball from Benitez. Another high pitch. Benitez really got to focus on getting the ball a bit lower in the strike zone.
And for manager Josh Matlow, I don't think it's about the result that's going to make him want to take one out of the game. I think it's the pitch count. If you're in an exhibition game, you don't want your guys to go super high with the pitch count.
Swung on and miss from Orr, 2-1. Absolutely, an exhibition game, you're not worried about the result. Obviously, you want to show well. You want to, build good habits for the regular season, but you also don't want to risk any injury. 2-1 pitch, just a bit high. 3-1, another hitter's count. Number 9 hitter Jack Gagliardi's on deck. Called strike 2. Or might have thought that one was inside. He was getting ready to take a strut down to first, but now the count's full.
And the runners will be on the move here with a full count and 2 outs.
There it goes. Called strike 3 in the outside corner. Benitez gets out of it the best way he knows how. Called strike 3, but the Reds get 3 runs off of him in the top of the first. But like we said, the result is not what you're looking at. Glad to see Benitez out there. We're going to the bottom of the first. Baycats due up. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV. First inning of play is brought to you by McDonald's Barrie, home of the free fries with 5 Baycat strikeouts. Take a look for that when the IBL season starts. Starting pitcher for the Thornhill Reds is Mac Major, and Sam LeCoyne. This guy was a big piece of their playoff run last year.
He certainly was. As we mentioned, he was the winning pitcher in the clinching game against the Leaside Leafs. He pitched to a 5-4 complete game. Reds won that game 5-4. And for their second straight Greater Toronto League championship.
First pitch called a strike to Kenise Ejo, leading off for the Baycats today. And for the Thornhill Reds, that is the 6th championship during the tenure of Nolan Revin, their manager. Like you mentioned, back-to-back 2022 and 2023 champions of the Greater Toronto Baseball League.
And Josh Matlow played for Nolan Revin back in the day as well. I'm sure you'll talk to him about that.
Ground ball is short, and easy play. On to first for Zach Lamprey, 1 down.
The shortstop, number 6, Kyle Maves.
Kyle Maves will step in, and another one of the core Baycats that are returning this year for another go at the IBL championship after last year's finals loss to Welland. First pitch coming from Major, it's fouled off. That one called the ball. It's 1-1. The rain's starting to kind of drizzle back again here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Stayed dry for a little bit towards first pitch, and that top of the first inning was dry, but now we're starting to see the rain come back. Another line drive foul down the third base side. 1-2 now to Kyle Maves. Maves actually got a really good opportunity over the winter to coach the Great Lake Canadians, a youth baseball program that on the ground to short again. Lamprey scoops it up onto first. Back-to-back 6-3 putouts for the Reds.
Left fielder, number 2.
And this has been a perfect spot here for Mac Major, getting the first 2 outs very efficiently.
I wonder how long he's going to pitch. They don't really have the same maybe itinerary as the Baycats do. They open their season next Wednesday against Leaside in the finals rematch. That ball inside to Ricky Phillips, and we're told this week, he told us this week that he prefers Rick, so we're going to go by Rick throughout the course of this season. That one outside, 1-1. And Rick is an import player from Reynoldsburg, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. 2-0 pitch is flown out to right field. Moving back on it is Jesse Fishbaum. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Thornhill Reds. And they'll have their number 9 hitter, Jack Gagliardi, leading it off in the second inning. When we come back, you're watching Baycats TV, Barrie Baycats Baseball.
Hey fans, anyone
Top of the second here at Vintage Throne Stadium, the Thornhill Reds lead the Barrie Baycats 3-0 in this exhibition matchup. And like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it's going to be pretty much a new pitcher for the Baycats in every inning. And this one is Frank Garces, the ace of the club last year in Samuel Coyne. Baycats fans are surely happy he's back for 2024.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Julius. If there's ever a guy you would want on the mound for the Baycats, it's Frank Garces. This pitcher, Frank Garces, was absolutely phenomenal down the stretch for the Baycats last year. He was basically an automatic win for the team. He got a few wins in both the second round against Kitchener and the finals against Welland. He's going to be a guy that the Baycats are going to look to in big situations this year.
He's already up 0-2 on Jack Gagliardi. That one's outside for ball one. And Garces, you mentioned, basically an automatic win for the Baycats. He had 10 starts last year, a 6-1 record. He had 2 complete games in the regular season, one of them a shutout here against Welland. And that was a huge win at the time for the Baycats. Kind of tied them with the Jackfish for first place at the time, if I remember correctly. But then in the playoffs, he was just as incredible. 3-0 with a 2.61 ERA in 4 starts. And that one hit Gagliardi. On a 2-2 count, he's going to get the free pass to first base on a hit by pitch.
That is not like Frank Garces. He's usually a guy that commands the zone pretty good. We'll see how he works his way out of this one with the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, and you mentioned the top of the order was deadly for Juan Benitez in the first inning. Let's see if they have the same amount of success against Frank Garces, a lefty. He's already pitching out of the stretch with the runner on first base. That one's low to Kravis Bats, ball one.
And part of the reason why we might have seen Juan not be at his best, he might have been trying some new stuff on the mound. Exhibition games give pitchers and position players to try different approaches on the mound or at the plate. And you mentioned Garces already pitching out of the stretch. Yeah, there's a runner on, but he could be working on his delivery from out of the stretch.
You see it very often in spring training with pitchers. They might not get the best results, but they're always trying new routines, new pitch mixes, new sequences. You never know what their itinerary is going into the ball game. But at 2-1 pitch is inside of Kravis Bats. He was showing bunt earlier in the at-bat. I don't imagine he'd be doing that now.
And early on, the Reds are just not swinging at those borderline pitches. They're being very patient, and they're working the count to get pitches that they can drive.
And that one's low to Bats. Not a guy you want to give a free pass to. And also not like Frank Garces to give up basically 2 free passes to start the inning.
Zach Lamprey.
So 2 on here for Zach Lamprey, who walked himself in the first inning against Juan Benitez. It's not a sight Baycats fans are used to, seeing Garces pitch with multiple runners on. Just goes to show how dominant of a pitcher he's been in the IBL since making his way to Barrie. Oh, pitch driven out to right center field. Brendan Hillier is going to settle under that one. Makes the catch, and another tag up from second. Gagliardi is in safely, no problem at third base. That's basically the exact same way the first inning started. 2 runners get on, and a fly out to right field moves the runner over.
And being a pitcher, Brendan Hillier has definitely got a strong arm out there, but he's not going to be one to throw his arm out in an exhibition game.
Still some drizzle here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Like I mentioned, the first inning was relatively dry, but now it had some consistent drizzle since middle of the bottom of the first. So here's Jesse Fishbaum. He flew out to right. It's first time up. Bats is on his way to second. He's going to get there no problem. Plumpton fakes the pickoff throw over to third base. So 2 in scoring position now for the Reds. That one's inside to Fishbaum, pardon me. 1-1.
And Jesse Fishbaum, a guy who played the last 4 years in the IBL, was with the Brantford Red Sox. So he definitely knows this Baycats team.
Plenty of experience playing in this ballpark. Swung on and missed on that one. 1-2. A little off speed there from Garces. You might have noticed Garces not wearing his usual number this afternoon. He's wearing number 45 just for this exhibition game. Usually you'll see him wearing 97 as usual.
Got him wearing number 00 during media night a few days ago.
Inside to Fishbaum, 2-2. It's also relatively chilly here at the ballpark. Some of the players got to stay moving around to keep themselves a little bit warm. Foul tip into the glove. Plumpton holds on. There's the second out of the inning. First strikeout for Garces.
And that's what we want to see from Frank Garces, doing what he does best, striking a guy out.
So here comes Harrison Lamprey. Singleton scored last inning. First pitch just inside. Ball 1. Garces is very much a pitcher who likes to get up in counts early. Yes, he's a strikeout pitcher, but he's also not afraid to pitch to contact. 0-1. Basically the same pitch. Now it's 2-0.
And Lamprey singled his last time up. Harrison.
On the ground to third. Hayden Jacobs over there, and he can't come up with it. Over to home plate, and that's going to be it for Bats, pardon me. But one run does score on that play. 4-0 for the Thornhill Reds. On the error there by Hayden Jacob. We're going to head to the bottom of the second. 4-0 Thornhill. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV. This second inning of play, Barrie Baycats baseball, is brought to you by JC Unlimited Contracting. Design, supply, build, renovate, servicing Simcoe region for over a decade. Mac Major back on the bump for the Reds here in the second inning, and he's going to get Ryan Rio as his leadoff hitter in this second frame.
Not an easy task to start an inning, but you're lucky that there's no one on base for him.
Yeah, I guess that's a good time to mention Ryan Rio coming off a historic season in Baycats franchise history. He hits that one on the ground. It's a fair ball. Easy flip there from Ben Teplin to the pitcher Major. One out, and I guess I'll elaborate that, even though Rio grounded out there. He broke the single season Baycats RBI record. That's now set at 48.
First baseman, number 20, Nolan Makibroda.
You mentioned it earlier, Nolan Makibroda. His first game as a Baycat. Still exhibition game, but it's the first time we get to see him on the field in Baycats colors. First pitch is on the inside corner for a strike.
And this is another guy we're interested to see. Makibroda, a guy coming in. You notice from the view, he's not the smallest guy. He is a big guy, and he's got a lot of power. So we'll see what he can do in a Baycats uniform.
Measured at 6'4", 225 pounds from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He's got a 1-1 count here against Major. Outside for ball 2, and Josh Matlow mentioned to us a couple days ago that when he was finding new recruits for the Baycats this year, he was really trying to beef up the lineup, get a bit more power here at Vince's Throne Stadium. I think just based off some of the guys he's done that. That one's a foul ball past Ben Tuplin at first base. Very close call, but count's going to be 2-2 as Makibroda comes back.
And you mentioned power. Josh Matlow definitely got that. Makibroda, Ricky Phillips, he's hit over 20 home runs the last 2 years in the States, down in the States in a couple independent leagues. And Noah Hull, who we'll see in a few games, he's coming back from college. He's another guy who has elite power in the batter's box.
Well, it's popped out of play, and Makibroda's last college season was spent at Cumberland University, an NAIA level school in Tennessee. He had 17 home runs that season in just 47 games. 2-2 pitch, he swings and misses. 2 down pretty quickly here for Mac Major.
Third baseman, number 55, Hayden Jaco.
Hayden Jaco steps in. I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm happy to see Hayden Jaco on the field this early in the season. We didn't get to see him as early as we may have liked to last year. He was still recovering from a knee injury, but he looks as healthy as he's ever been.
You're definitely right about that, Julius. It's a great time when Hayden Jaco is behind the plate, not only because of his bat, but he's a great game caller behind the plate for the Baycats. And for manager Josh Matlow, he's definitely happy that Jaco has returned.
Well, he's playing third base today. He caught a little bit last year, especially in the playoffs. I would expect that we see him behind the dish a bit more this year than we did last year, especially coming off his injury. And he went around on that one, a 3-pitch strikeout for Mac Major. He's gone 6 up, 6 down so far through the first 2 innings. And we head to the top of the third. The Reds up 4-0 on the Barrie Baycats in this exhibition matchup. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV. We head to the third inning here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Thornhill Reds lead the Barrie Baycats 4-0.
Anthony Silvera.
Anthony Silvera will step in against Cesar Rosado. Another new Baycat arm that Josh Matlow is particularly excited about. And Sam, he's got the makeup of a very strong closer.
He definitely does, and we were going to see him start early on, I assume, but Josh Matlow told me that it wouldn't be surprising to see him move to the bullpen just because of the velocity he possesses.
And Davey Mendez for the Welland Jackfish last year was very much that same archetype, high velocity. He'll surprise you with how fast you're going to see pitches out of the bullpen close the game. And last year for Mendez, it was like he came out of the bullpen and you were going, it was 3 up, 3 down every time almost. Rosado's up 1-1 here on Anthony Silvera. That's a called strike, too.
And mentioning Davey Mendez, Ryan Rio kind of joked that the Baycats had kind of figured him out at the end of the year. We'll see what happens about that, because if the game is close on May the 18th when the Baycats go to Welland to take on the Jackfish, there's a good chance you're going to see Davey Mendez in that game.
That's going to be a very entertaining game. Can't miss for sure. Jackfish are going to have their IBL Championship ring ceremony on their home field against the Baycats, so don't want to miss that one. And Rosado strikes out the first batter he sees. Exactly, if you're Josh Mallow, that's exactly what you want to see coming out of the gate.
Number 10, Argenis Paz.
So Argenis Paz will step in. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. First pitch from Rosado's in the dirt.
And Paz is another guy who had a solid playoffs last year for Thornhill. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on if you're Cesar Rosado.
Popped up, out of play. Just looking at the statistics for the Thornhill Reds, something that stands out to me is that they hit over 300 as a team last year, which you very, very rarely see in high-level baseball such as this. That one's on the ground. Hayden Jacobs going to cut in front of Kyle Maves there. He makes the play over to first. 2 down quickly here for Cesar Rosado.
And you mentioned the 300 batting average as a team. That kind of explains the hot start they've been off to.
Ben Teplin.
Yeah, 306 as a team during the 2023 season. Incredible numbers from championship level team. Ben Teplin could be the final out of the inning if Cesar Rosado can set him down. That one foul off the screen.
And that would definitely be a good sight to see, as the first 2 innings have not gone the Baycats' way so far. So a quick inning for Rosado here would be ideal if you're a Baycats fan.
On the ground, off Rosado's glove. Doesn't look like he's going to have a play. Jaco does his best to slide over there, but Taplin's going to reach on an infield single. Looks like Rosado's okay. It did hit his glove, so I'd imagine that caught most of the webbing there. Just couldn't hold on.
Number 4, Patrick Orr.
Taplin reaches on the infield single. Patrick Orr will step in. He struck out to end his first time up.
He's only one of the few Thornhill batters that hasn't reached base today.
Well, if you're Cesar Rosado in this outing, you only have 1 out left, but you still want to make a good first impression, not only to Josh Matlow, your manager, but also to the fans that have stuck it out so far through the cold and the rain here today. First pitch, a strike.
And And it's good to see that his control has been relatively good. Normally with pitchers who throw hard, sometimes control can be an issue, but so far it doesn't seem to be that way, which is a very good sign.
Curveball in there for a strike. That looked like a nasty pitch from Rosado. Caught Orr off guard.
And that's going to be very important for Rosado. If he can manage the off-speed pitches coupled with that big fastball, he's going to have plenty of success this season.
He's up 0-2 here on Patrick Orr. Swung on and missed. He got him with that high heat on the fastball. And other than that infield single, a fairly easy inning for Cesar Rosado. Good first showing as a Barrie Baycat. 4-0 for the Thornhill Reds. We head to the bottom of the third. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV.
No errors, and 1 man left on base.
Yeah, and he should be 17, number 17. I'm going to have to pull up, when the next pitcher for the Reds comes up, I'm going to have to pull up the stats because I don't know any of their other guys.
They have their, like, it'll be Zach Orchard, Tyler Plumpton, and Brandon Hillier. 7, 8, 9 in the Barrie Baycats lineup. Here in the third inning against the Thornhill Reds, this preseason exhibition matchup between the two clubs. The Reds lead the Baycats 4-0. Zach Orchard, another new Baycat, steps in, and formerly of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sees the first pitch, lowest part of the plate for a strike.
Yeah, you mentioned he might be new to the Baycats, but he is not new to the Intercounty Baseball League, playing 3 seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs a few years back.
Last IBL appearance was in 2019 with the Leafs, and you mentioned to him the other day that he actually feels quite comfortable hitting in this park. It's like he says, it's like he never left the IBL. 1-1 pitch, just outside. We're still keeping an eye on this weather. It's still a pretty consistent drizzle here at Vintage Throne Stadium.
Not the best conditions indeed.
Inside part of the plate, called strike 2.
And both those pitches seem to be quite borderline in the strike zone, but you can see Orchard. He's definitely waiting for something towards the middle of the plate.
That one low, a nice block there from Patrick Orr. Full count now. Payoff pitch from Mac Major. Fouled off out of play on the right side.
This is what the Baycats need. They need to work the pitch count of Mac Major. Yes, this is an exhibition game, but if you're talking about trying to get to the Thornhill right-hander, working his pitch count should help.
Another payoff pitch from Major. Foul tip into the glove of Patrick Orr. Orchard strikes out, one down in the third.
Catcher number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
This third inning brought to you by Render 3D Quick, the #1 architectural 3D rendering company in Canada, working with thousands of builders, developers, architects, and more. Tyler Plumpton, the Baycats catcher, has his first at-bat of the ballgame. Takes the first pitch down the middle, strike one.
Baycats still looking for their first hit in this game.
Major has retired every batter he's seen thus far. 7 up and 7 down for the Baycats. Not what you want to see. 1-1 pitch to Plumpton is up high. Good to see Tyler Plumpton back in the lineup. He coming off a broken leg he actually suffered in this ballpark last season. A scary incident during a warm-up of an inning.
It was his fibula as well. He broke it. Like you mentioned, warming up. Someone that came out of the bullpen in the 9th inning. I believe that was Brandon Hillier, and didn't get to play the rest of the season.
3-1 pitch. He grounds it foul, third base side. Close call there for Plumpton, and it was a very weird situation. I will say that he was planting himself to make the throw down to second base, as is customary. And when you're between innings, when the pitcher's warming up, you throw down to second off the last pitch, and something. Well, we'll say Plumpton was hit by a pitch earlier in that game, and he told me that that's probably what likely caused some kind of weakness in his leg, and the plant on that play was likely the culprit. He does go around on that pitch, on the full count pitch. Plumpton strikes out, and that's 8 in a row for Mac Major. And that's 4 strikeouts in a row.
Brandon Hillier.
And a rare situation here with Brandon Hillier, usually a pitcher getting an at-bat here.
They mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Brad McQuinn was the originally expected to start in right field today for the Baycats, as Hillier takes that one for strike one. And McQuinn in a late scratch. He was unable to make to the game today. So Brandon Hillier stepping in. And the 9 spot in the order. And he gets that one foul. Oh, 0-2 pitch. He grounds it third base side. Nice diving play there by Silvera, and Hillier beats it out.
And how about that? Brandon Hillier gets the first hit of the game for the Baycats, and he brings up the top of the order.
Anthony Silvera, valiant effort there down the third baseline, and actually watched Hillier take batting practice earlier today, and he was pulling a lot of the pitches he was seeing and hitting them quite hard, to be honest. So not unlike what the results he was getting in batting practice on that play. Silvera almost coming up with it. Hillier, like we mentioned, he's playing right field today. He's a very athletic guy for being a closing pitcher and able to beat it out for a base hit. Ejo fouls that one off. Hillier's the first to reach today for the Baycats, let alone it being the first hit of the game.
We'll see if they can start a little 2-out rally here with the top of the order up.
So Kenise Ejo steps in. He's down 0-1 already. Flies that one to center field. Kravis Bats heading over to his left, and he's going to get there no problem. Speedy center fielder makes the catch. Hillier gets the hit for the Baycats, but Other than that, no offense so far for the Baycats. 4-0 for the Thornhill Reds as we head to the top of the fourth. You're watching Baycats baseball on Baycats TV. It's the fourth inning here at Vintage Throne Stadium. The rain is still coming down in a consistent drizzle, but we play on. It's 4-0 for the Thornhill Reds over the Baycats in this exhibition matchup. And now taking them out for the Baycats, someone saying that you're very excited to see in a Baycats uniform. That's Carlos Sano.
Absolutely right. There's been a lot of buzz about Carlos Sano joining the Baycats. And like Cesar Rosado, Carlos Sano features an elite arm with some high velocity. And if you just look at him on the mound, he is a big presence on the hill for the Baycats.
It's already a 1-1 count. Now make that 2-1. It's Jack Gagliardi who has led off an inning both times he's been up in this ball game. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the second inning. On the ground, a short. Kyle Mave scoops it up. On the run, throw to first. It's in time. Gagliardi runs pretty well. Does play a fast left field, but Kyle Maves, nice throw on the run there to get him. One down.
And regardless of the call at first base, that was a great play from Kyle Maves.
So back to the leadoff man. Kravis bats, takes the first pitch strike from Sano. And talking about Carlos Sano, Sano is a fairly large man. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. Very much a power pitcher kind of archetype, if you want to call him that. 1-1 count here to bats. His most recent high-level experience was in the Nicaraguan Winter League over the 2023-24 campaign. 1-2 pitch to bats, up and away. Two. That one's laced into left field. Rick Phillips dives and makes the catch. Sliding catch there from the new guy, Rick Phillips, in left field, stealing extra bases, surely. Away from Kravis bats. 2 quick outs for Carlos Sano.
Talking about the speed in the outfield, Rick Phillips went to that ball, he closed it, and he dove and made a spectacular catch. First star on the scorecard today.
And with the wet turf out there, or grass, pardon me, you can see why he slid that few extra feet when he came down after making the catch. And quickly, it's 0-2 to Zach Lampreia. He swung on and missed. 3 up, 3 down go the Reds. First time they've done that today, and Carlos Sano happy he's got a good first showing in Baycats blue. Still 4-0 for the Reds, however. We head to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching Baycats baseball on Baycats TV.
Hey fans, the next home game for the Barrie Baycats will be the home opener on Thursday, May 16th at 7:35 p.m.
Bottom of the 4th inning at Vintage Throne Stadium. Still a wet one in this exhibition matchup between the Thornhill Reds and the Barrie Baycats. Kyle Maves will lead it off. For Barrie, I'm joined in the booth by Nolan Revin, the manager of the Thornhill Reds. Nolan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad that we can actually kind of make this a tradition. It's been 3 years in a row for you guys making the trip out here to Barrie, and I was saying earlier in the broadcast, kind of think of this as a rubber match. You guys won the first one a few years ago in 22, and Baycats got you back 4-2 last year. And to start off your year, how important is this to kind of get your extra experience, against a high-level club like Barrie?
Yeah, it's excellent for that purpose. We get a lot of value out of this game. We see some good pitching, and of course our pitchers have to face some good hitters. So it's a great tune-up for us. Gives us a chance to get out and play an actual game before we start playing for real.
Now, you guys open your season on Wednesday next week, or 2 weeks from now, pardon me, against Leaside, and a huge back-to-back championships for you guys. And you guys beat Leaside last year, so you guys have built a great program. Like I said, back-to-back championships. What's gone into kind of building the roster, building the culture around your club?
A lot of work, a lot of hard work, talking to a lot of guys in the off-season, also treating the guys right that have been with the club and keeping them happy and getting them back each year. It's a whole process. We start early. We get indoors in January, and then we go all the way until August. So we built a little bit of a family, and we have guys who've been on the club for 8, 9, 10 seasons now. So it's a little bit of a home away from home as well for some guys.
So for some fans that may not know what the Greater Toronto Baseball League is, what have you guys seen in the level of play that fans might be excited by, or like what is maybe the most appealing part of the league? Would you say for fans?
The most appealing part of the league probably is also the talent level. You've got mainly players with NCAA or OUA experience, so it's a good level of baseball. Mostly local, obviously, right around the GTBA, so the travel is a lot less, and it's a good brand of baseball.
I've always said there's been some guys, I mean, even on your team, that could definitely have the IBL in their future as well. So talent level is definitely up there, and we saw that earlier today. Mac Major had a incredible outing. He just almost had that 3 up, 3 down in the last inning to keep a perfect 3 innings for him. But for a guy like that, what do you see in his future?
Well, Max, he's been with the Brantford Red Sox of the IBL in past, and he's had a couple good seasons with us as well, mixed in there. So Max, a gritty performer. He wants the ball all the time. He never says no, and he'll always give you 100% every time he's on the mound. So he's a great piece to have as a manager.
Something that stood out to me when I was looking at your guys' team in preparation for this one, that one sailed over his head. It is starting to get quite wet. The rain has picked up at Vintage Throne Stadium over the last few minutes. But Nolan, your offensive production has been fantastic, especially last year. You guys hit over 300 as a team. What's been that process been like, getting the guys more consistency at the plate? What's been the key to success for you guys offensively?
We talk about having a lot of team at-bats, having productive at-bats. In my pregame speech, I often mention having a productive at-bat. Don't give any at-bats away. It's easy as in amateur baseball to sort of have lapses of concentration where you may not be working as hard as you should be during each at-bat, and I think we try and limit that and really have the guys trying to concentrate every time they're at the plate.
Ryan Rio will step in with a runner on, and for a senior men's team like you guys, very much like the IBL, it's guys really trying to keep baseball in their lives for the most part. And Rick Phillips is going to get a stolen base here, his first as a Baycat. So what goes into the off-season training for you guys when you kind of come into the season? What's maybe like your regiment like when you're indoors?
So we're indoors. We work out on Sunday nights, and we hit. We take ground balls, pitchers pitch, and we just sort of get together and start working on baseball habits. And talking about what we want to do that season, and some weeks we have 8 guys there, some weeks we have 12, but overall we have a pretty good work ethic. The guys are serious about it, and it's good to get back out here.
What's you've managed for quite a while at this club, I believe since 2013 when did you start? 2011?
I think 2011 potentially, yeah.
So in those years, 13 years now, maybe what are some of the most important things that you've learned as a manager of this club?
I've learned you actually do have to make decisions, and you sort of do have to take control. Otherwise, the players will want to do things their way, and everyone wants to be your friend. And we do try to be friends with everyone, but unfortunately, somebody's got to push the buttons and pull the strings. So I've learned that I've got to stand on my own 2 feet sometimes, and know that I'm making baseball decisions based on 20 or 22 guys, not one individual person. So I think that's for me personally, that's the strongest thing I've learned.
So going into this year, obviously you got a talented team. You're looking for a 3rd straight championship. Who are some guys that you're looking to give maybe an extra opportunity this year to kind of have a breakout year?
Breakout year. That's a good question. We've got Jacob Hillier back behind the plate this year. He's been away for a couple of years. I think he'll help us out a lot. He should have a good year. Same with Russell McGibbon in the outfield, and he'll play a little infield too. He's been away from the club for a year or two. I think adding him back will be a nice boost for us. Plus, we got our veteran ace from the mound back. He had a Achilles injury and took away all of 2023 from him, Chadwick Cameron.
Yeah,
so
and he pitched here last year.
He did.
Incredible.
It'll be nice to have him back. He missed basically all of last year.
It's starting to get quite moist outside. Rain has been picking up in the last half inning, but we do play on. 2 on for the Baycats for Noah Macabroda, and Matthew Canhigh is pitching for the Reds here, and what do you kind of expect from his season?
Matthew's going to help us out of the bullpen. He's a U of T product. Played his younger days with the Toronto Mets program. So I expect him to pitch for us out of the bullpen and potentially, give us some quality innings out of the pen. He should be fine.
Macabrona took that one for a ride, and Kravis bats. Made a great running catch, but runners in the corners now for the Baycats, and Kravis bats has been a standout, at least in my eyes, for your guys' club. What are your expectations for him this year? Maybe what do you see in his future going forward?
Another good year. He's been a handful of good years. He's a former GTBL MVP. He was the playoff MVP last year, leading us to a championship. He's a tireless worker. He's got a lot of energy. He's a big team guy, real fast, covers a lot of ground in the outfield as well.
Absolutely.
He's a real important piece to the puzzle, so it's always nice having Kravis back each year.
Hayden Jaco out for the Baycats, 2 on. The coach, where can fans, or maybe if you have, obviously we may have Thornhill Reds fans tuning into our broadcast today, but if fans want to know more about the club, where can they reach you guys?
They can find us online at thornhillreds.com. We're on Twitter at @ThornhillReds. And those are the 2 main spots to find us.
Awesome.
We appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming up here today.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's Coach Nolan Revin of the Thornhill Reds. We come back to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 4-0 for the Reds over the Baycats. You're watching Baycats TV. We head to the 5th inning. That 4th inning was brought to you by Clarkson Bins and Junk Removal, the local source for simple, clean, and reliable disposal, bin rental, and junk removal services. We start the 5th inning of play, and another new Baycat on the mound. This is Christian Lazar, and Sam, a guy that's making his way back to the IBL after an injury last year.
Yeah, suffered a torn labrum and had to get labrum surgeries last year. I spoke to him during the offseason. He's actually been dealing with it for quite a while before he got the surgery. It kind of impacted his play. But the last time he was healthy, he was a very good pitcher on the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals. So we'll see now that he's healthy again what he can do.
That was popped up behind first, and that was a tough play for Nolan Macabrota, and it falls in between 3 players. So new life here for Jesse Fishbone. Yeah, and talking to Christian Lazar, he wants to go by Christian, not Chris. He's eager to get back out here. It's been, he said, 18 months since he really threw competitively, so he's happy to be on the Baycats, and he said he's familiar with the park. It's more of a pitcher's park for him. That one's popped up, and Hayden Jacobs is going to take that in fair territory, make the catch for the first out.
Designated hitter number 1, Harrison Lamprey.
Nolan Revin mentioned to you that Mac Major pitched a little bit for the Red Sox as well, so sort of a connection between the Thornhill Reds and the Brantford Red Sox as well. We always talk about the Baycats and the Thornhill Reds having a little connection. Brandon Colley played for the Reds last year. It looks to still be on the roster this year, but sort of a connection between the Reds and the IBL.
Absolutely. So here's Harrison Lamprey, cleanup hitter. 2-0 already, and after that quick first out, Lazar falls behind. Two-0 pitch, foul to the screen. Nice pick there from Tyler Plumpton, but in the dirt. 3-1 now to Harrison Lamprey.
And mentioning pitch count again, for a guy like Lazar who just recovered from surgery last year, you don't want to see his pitch count go up. His first outing back.
Third baseman number 13, Anthony Silvera.
So the walk there to Lamprey brings up Anthony Silvera. Double play still in order for Lazar, however. Silvera's walked and struck out. Strike one there to Silvera.
Part of 2 strikeouts in the inning for Cesar Rosado.
Lazar's last IBL experience in the 2022 playoffs with Welland. That one's flown out to center field. Kanice Ejo settles under it, makes the catch, 2 down.
Second baseman number 10, Argenis Paz.
So Argenis Paz is stepping in and reaching a fielder's choice in the first, grounded out in the 3rd inning. Swings and misses on the first pitch there.
It's been a good last couple innings for Baycats pitchers. They've really quieted down this Reds offense.
It's weird to say that because the rain has picked up a lot, or relatively, in the last couple innings.
The field conditions are not in their favor right now.
No, you can definitely notice it around home plate. You can see the mud starting to settle in. That one's fouled over our heads.
It's the roof.
1-2. Lazar, a product of Sioux Falls University, Division II program in the United States. Just outside for ball 2. Popped up on the infield. Kyle Maves calls for it, and he makes the catch relatively easy inning his first time back in an IBL uniform for Christian Lazar. As we head to the the bottom of the fifth inning, still 4-0 for the Thornhill Reds. You're watching Baycats Baseball on Baycats TV. We're back in the bottom of the fifth inning. The Thornhill Reds lead the Barrie Baycats 4-0 in this exhibition matchup. The IBL season technically starts tomorrow. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the London Majors will open the season at Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. But for the Baycats, Thursday the 16th, the home opener against those Toronto Maple Leafs.
And speaking of Toronto Maple Leafs, we got a former Maple Leaf at the plate right now, Zach Orchard, for his second at-bat.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Sam. He fouls that one out of play.
I hate to do that to my broadcast partner, but...
That's okay, that's okay. 0-1 already. Orchard, another new face for the Baycats, and actually a new pitcher in the ball game is Joseph Handley out of the bullpen for the Thornhill Reds, right-hander. Outside for ball one. One pitcher to Orchard, spiked in front of the plate.
And as Hanley gets into the game, Mac Major's day is done. He, safe to say, had a great start again. Only worked the 4 innings, but only worked the 3 innings. But for a while there, the Baycats did not get a hit. Brandon Hillier's infield signal was the first hit of the game.
Yeah, I mentioned that to Reds manager Nolan Revin. How great of a performance that was from Mac Major. He almost had the perfect 3 innings. But, of course, it was the pitcher who got a hit off the opposing pitcher, Brandon Hillier. A late addition to the lineup. Actually, the only Baycat to get a hit in this ballgame so far.
Couple of walks, but, yep, Brandon Hillier's hit is the only one. There's another one.
Another spiked pitch, and Zach Orchard's going to have a leadoff walk here in the 5th.
The catcher, number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
Now Tyler Plumpton will step in against Joseph Handley, and Hanley, a new addition to this Reds roster.
And talking to Josh Matlin, we might see Tyler Plumpton in the outfield later this game. As part of the defensive adjustments for the Baycats.
First pitch to Plumpton's outside. Evan Souls is on deck for the Baycats. It looks like he might be hitting in the spot of Brandon Hillier. 2-0 now on Plumpton, and I believe it looks like Hanley's release point is coming in a bit lower than he would have liked. A few of those pitches in the first at-bats at Orchard were spiked in front of the plate, and the first two in this one are low.
Obviously, not the best mound conditions as well.
Oh, a line foul, third base side. Plumpton really got a hold of that one. 2-1 the count now, and you can see the mound conditions are really starting to get a little shaky. The mound just looks a little worn out from here from all the rain and cleats on it. Curveball in there for a strike. Plumpton watches that one by. Two pitch, line foul again from Plumpton. He's early on those last couple foul balls, but he's barreling them up quite nicely. Exactly what manager Josh Matlow wants to see out of a guy, especially coming back from injury. Plumpton hopefully hoping to get in the lineup a bit more than he would last year. But just like last year, the Baycats have plenty of options at catcher.
We saw just how many during the playoffs as well. Hayden Jaco was coming back slightly, but couldn't play every game because still recovering from the injury.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, Jaco, as we'll expect him to have the majority of starts at catcher whenever he's available, but plenty of options. Plumpton, definitely one of them. James Anderson, who's not here today, he also fits in behind the dish, and he was saying that he's happy to play wherever the team needs him, whether it's outfield, infield, behind the dish. Outside in the dirt, Plumpton will take a free pass. 2 straight walks to start the 5th inning for Joseph Hanley.
Pitch hitting for Brandon Hillier, number 46, Evan Souls.
Evan Souls will step in the batter's box. He's the pinch hitter here for Brandon Hillier.
And like Brandon Hillier getting some pinch run opportunities last year, we saw some for Evan Souls as well. As he will have a meeting with third base coach Andrew White as we get a little meeting on the mound.
You know, and Evan Souls does have experience hitting in the IBL. Very limited, but he has had 9 at-bats at the IBL level. It really looks like the clay and the dirt on the mound are really starting to stick into the cleats of Joseph Hanley. Had to call time there. Souls shows bunt, takes ball 1, and Hanley really struggling with his command here.
And if you're Hanley in this situation, you have a normal pitcher at the plate. You should try and just attack the zone. Granted, the conditions aren't the greatest, but Evan Souls, not anything against Souls, but he's not the guy who swings the bat very often.
Well, especially when you're struggling to throw strikes and you get an opportunity like this, and we've seen it when the National League had pitchers in the lineup a few years ago. They've since replaced them with the designated hitter, but when that would come up, perfect opportunity for pitchers who might have struggled with their command the last, previous couple batters. Kind of a reset point. And right there, he gets the strike.
And the first hit of the game was by a pitcher, so.
You never know what's going to happen in baseball. 2-1 pitch to Souls. On the ground to third. This could be double play. Spiked over to first. He just barely gets Souls, and Souls is a pretty fast runner. But the third baseman, Silvera, does manage to get it over there for a double play. Plumpton remains on second, however, as Kenisi Ijo steps in.
Kenisi Ijo.
We're gonna get a mound visit here. We'll wait and see if that's the end of the day for Hanley, or if it's just trying to give him a breath or two.
Yeah, you can see him still clearing the dirt and clay out of his cleats. The rain has been consistent for the last few innings, and you wonder if it starts to rain any harder in the next inning or so. You wonder about how long this game could go. The Kenisi Ijo step in. He's 0 for 2 so far, ground out and a fly out. And he lines that one to the screen.
If there wasn't a screen right there, that would have came close to you and I.
Kenisi Ijo also coming off a record-setting season. 26 stolen bases last year as a Baycat. That's a single-season franchise record. And Baycats fans are surely happy to see him back in the leadoff spot for 2024.
Certainly are. And when speaking with Ijo, he told me he wants to break his own record, maybe even the IBL record, set by Brandon Nicholson a few years back. Then with the Welland Jackfish, now with the Hamilton Cardinals.
Well, it's amazing that Ijo was able to break that record, considering that he didn't get to the Baycats until about a month into the IBL season. So, considering if he had that extra month or so, who knows how many stolen bases he could have had. But we could see that this year as he fouls that one off out of play on the right side. It's now 2-2. And it looks like Hanley's kind of found his stride a little bit. Hanley comes set, the 2-2 pitch coming. Just low, Ijo watches it go by. Full count. Kyle Maves on deck should Ijo be able to reach. Three-two. On the ground, through the left side for a base hit. Plumpton's being waved around. The left fielder Gagliardi's throw is wide. Plumpton scores. The Baycats are on the board. Kenisi Ijo with the RBI single. It's 4-1.
The shortstop, number 6, Kyle Maves.
Kenisi Ijo's first hit of the game. And a strong throw might have got Tyler Plumpton there, but it was a little bit off. Baycats got their first run.
Andrew White's move to wave him was a bit questionable in my mind seeing it live, but you're really testing the arm there of Gagliardi.
And, you know, a lot of things you want to work on during an exhibition game. Base running may have been one of them. And
Absolutely, especially for a guy like Plumpton who's coming off of an injury. Push him a little bit, see where he can go. Ejo goes. Throw down to second is not in time. Kenise Ejo with the stolen base, the second of the game for the team. And Maves has a runner in scoring position again.
There you go. 26 a season to go. And this game doesn't count towards regular season stats, but already won in the preseason.
Looking to get the IBL season off to a hot start, Kenise Ejo, and it's exactly his role for the team as a leadoff hitter. Kyle Maves has a 1-1 count against Handley.
If you're the Baycats, you know that Handley struggled in this inning with command. You just got to try and work the at-bat and look for a pitch that you can drive into the gaps and start to make this game a little closer.
Well, Kyle Maves is a great contact hitter. He's got a left side of the infield open, and that one's spiked, and Ejo takes third easily. Another stolen base.
And for the few amount of people who have stuck it out here at Vincent Strone Stadium, they made their voices heard on that one, cheering for Kenise Ejo. Great to see the Baycats fans giving their team some support in this one, trying to get them back into this game. Base hit, drives in a run.
Ejo 90 feet away from having the Reds lead within one inning. 2-1 pitched inside on Maves. It's 3-1. Rick Phillips awaiting on deck, and he had the other stolen base earlier in the fourth inning.
And we mentioned as well Rick Phillips' speed. He's got, same like Ejo, a mix of speed, power, and great fielding ability. They make a great duo in that Baycats outfield.
Well, we saw it defensively robbing Kravis Bats of a base hit. That one's grounded to the shortstop, and that's the second time Maves has grounded out and slipping at the plate. But that will end the inning. The Baycats do get a run, however, still trailing the Thornhill Reds 4-1. We head to the sixth inning. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV.
No errors, one left on base.
Top of the sixth inning here at Vintage Throne Stadium. The Barrie Baycats trail the Thornhill Reds by a score of 4-1 in this exhibition matchup. few defensive changes to make you aware of, and not the pitcher. Christian Lazar is back out for a second inning of work, but his catcher now is Hayden Jaco, who moves from third base to catcher. Now at third base is Evan Souls, who pinch hit for Brandon Hillier. Nolan Macabrota moves from first base to left field. Now at first base is Ryan Rio, who moves over there from the DH spot. So the Baycats lose their DH. And the right fielder now is Rick Phillips, who moves from left to right.
Definitely seeing the versatility on display.
That one's a soft grounder to second base by Argenis Paz, and he's going to beat out that ground ball. Valiant effort there from Zach Orchard, sliding play to attempt making a throw over there. He got it over there, but just not in time. Pardon me, that was Ben Teplin making that play. We're getting over there to first base. First pitch fouled out of play, and looks like Josh Matlow's attempting to stretch out Christian Lazar for another inning or so. He's the first Baycats pitcher so far in this game to go out there for a second inning of work. That one's a called strike.
And despite the leadoff single, that hit was certainly soft contact. So a good first result. I'm sure Lazar does not want a base runner to be on, but I'm sure he'll take the contact.
Up 0-2 here on Patrick Orr, who struck out twice already. He sees that one outside.
Struck out looking in the first and swinging in the third.
One-two from Lazar. Low and away again, 2-2. Lazar really settling in on the mound. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to third base. Evan Souls has a hop off his glove. Tough hop moving over to his right. That's going to be another base runner for the Thornhill Reds. It's going to be scored an infield hit there. It was a tough play for Evan Souls. Hard contact, like we said, the soft contact, now the hard contact. And then two base runners on, and the rain's starting to come down a little bit harder at Vintage Throne Stadium. Jack Gagliardi steps in. He shows bunt, he bunts it right to Lazar, who makes the easy play. Picked by Rio at first base for the out. That was a close call at first base if Rio wasn't able to get that, but he was. First out of the inning.
And knowing the relationship Rio has with Lazar, he's going to be talking to him a little bit about that play as well. Rio is not a guy who plays a lot of first base anymore, but he gets into the game and makes a nice scoop on a throw from Lazar.
Clearly he hasn't lost the touch at first base.
Well, that's what he's going to tell you. That's what he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you that he's a Gold Glove first baseman.
Here's Kravis Batts, who's singled and walked. He had another base hit taken away from him by Phillips in left field, and that nice sliding defensive play. And Phillips now in right, maybe for that reason, because Batts is a lefty. He showed bunt, and the infield is playing in. Evan Souls in on the grass. Kyle Maves in on the grass. Looks like the Baycats might be trying to cut off this run at home plate should the ground ball be in play. But it's 2-0 here on Batts.
And as you mentioned, Batts was the hitter that hit that line drive to Rick Phillips in left field that he made the catch on. Hit it to right, Batts. Hit it to right.
3-0 right down the middle for a called strike. Bats was taking all the way on that pitch. Entire infield on the grass. Bats calls time. You can see the dirt has been becoming an issue for both pitchers and hitters. Lazar even having to clear his cleats as Bats calls time. And the drizzle is still persistent here at the ballpark. A 3-1 pitch coming from Christian Lazar. Just low. Very close call. But Bats walks and the bases are loaded for Zach Lamprey.
Shortstop number 15, Zach Lamprey.
Oh, new hitter. So we might have pinch hitter up here.
First pitch is low. Lazar really trying to battle in this inning. He's only got one out, but double play is in order. Corners are playing in on the Baycats infield, and that might play to their advantage. Souls gets the ball over to home plate. Jaco makes the play for the second out of the inning. No play at first base, as that was David Schlosser who pinch hit for Zach Lamprey, pardon me. So now 2 out.
Right fielder number 16, Jesse Fishbaum.
So here's Jesse Fishbaum, who has yet to reach in this ball game. And the pressure's on Lazar again. The base is loaded. 2 out now, though. And he's, again, going to the back of the mound and clears cleats off. And you wonder, with the more hitters and pitchers having to mend to their footwear, you wonder how the field conditions might be an issue.
As this at-bat gets underway, Baycats are in their road navy blues today with the gray pants against Thornhill with probably their home uniforms with the home pants. Look nice. Baycats always look nice in their navy blues.
Yeah, we actually talked about this before the game. We saw the uniforms today, and I was like, hey, the gold trim is back on the numbers and lettering. And we had a little bit of a disagreement about last year's uniform, and that one's driven back deep to right field. But Phillips, another outstanding catch. Diving to his back towards the fence, Phillips comes up with it again, and Lazar gets out of it unscathed.
How about it?
It's still a 4-1 game. Reds lead the Baycats, but Rick Phillips possibly taking away a bases-clearing extra base hit there
For the Reds in inning number 6,
from Jesse Fishbaum. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Still 4-1 Reds. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV. We are back for the bottom of the 6th inning between the Thornhill Reds and the Barrie Baycats, and it's brought to you by Moving.ca. Two small men with big hearts moving, making moving stress-free for over 35 years. We saw over the last half-inning break, grounds crew putting over some quick dry over catcher's position behind the plate and on the mound. A bit of a lengthy delay, but it's funny how when you make a fantastic defensive play that you happen to lead off the next inning. That's exactly what's happened for Rick Phillips. He takes the first pitch strike from Joseph Handley.
0 for 2 so far today, but I don't think anyone cares right now with the couple of great defensive plays he's made. Well, let's see if he can do something with the bat.
Lines that one into center field. Kravis bats over to his right, makes an easy catch. First out of the inning. Phillips got on in the 4th inning and stole that base. But it was still left on.
Ryan Rio. Correction, he is at first base.
So Ryan Rio steps in. It's grounded out and walked. He takes the first pitch ball. Ryan Rio, a first-team IBL All-Star in 2023. A fantastic year for him. And he lines that one over the head of the second baseman and into right field. A base hit for Rio.
His second time on base, his first hit of the season, first hit of the preseason.
Left fielder number 20, Nolan Makibroda.
Here's Nolan Makibroda now in left field. He started the game at first base, and now that's where Rio is defensively. But if you're Baycats fans, and all kudos to those who are still holding out here in the cold, chilly, rainy weather, hoping for a Baycats home run. This might be a great opportunity from a guy that was brought in as a power hitter. He's hitting in the cleanup spot today. Big man from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan takes the first pitch strike.
And a home run here would tie the game here in a 4-2 game. For a 1 game, check that. But a home run here would make things much closer.
1-1 here to Makibroda, and as mentioning, they put some quick dry on the mound and behind the plate, and you can still see kind of surrounding the batter's boxes where the umpire's standing. You can see where the clay and the mud, dirt starting to get wet and puddle. That one's on the ground down the first baseline and scooped up by Handley onto first base, but despite the ground up by Makibroda, Ryan Rio moves up to second base.
Catcher number 55, Hayden Jaco.
Here's Hayden Jaco. He's now in the game as a catcher, started as the third baseman. Also yet to reach base today, struck out and flew out. Prime RBI position here with Rio on second base. First pitch to Jaco, outside corner for strike one, and I mentioned the well-deserved accolade for Ryan Rio last year, first-team All-Star in the IBL. Jaco also accomplished IBL player himself. He was a Rookie of the Year with the London Majors in 2021, as well as achieving second-team All-Star honors that year.
Baycats had 4 All-Stars last year. Frank Garces, Adam Odd, and Kinesi Joe, the other 3, along with Ryan Rio. You mentioned Hayden Jaco, IBL Rookie of the Year in 2021.
Yeah, not being a championship year for the London Majors. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. It's 1-2. If Jaco can reach, Zach Orchard awaits on deck, looking to get his first crack at a base hit in a Baycats uniform. 1-2 pitch low, 2-2. 2-2 pitch from Hanley. Swung and fouled off to the screen by Jaco. Just got a piece of it.
Zach Orchard's going to beat the ball boy to the ball there. Collects the ball, brings it back.
Outside, out to full count. Hanley's pitched well since refinding his command in the last inning. Struggled a little bit with a couple walks in the fifth, but since then he's found the strike zone pretty consistently, but it's up against it here against Hayden Jaco with 2 out. On the ground, right back to him. Flip over to first, an easy out, and the Baycats go down again without scoring a run. They leave Ryan Rio on second base. But we head to the 7th inning. Still a 4-1 ball game in favor of those Thornhill Reds. You're watching Barrie Baycats baseball on Baycats TV.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on.
Seventh inning of play here at Vintage Throne Stadium, and it is an exhibition game after all. And after being taken out of the lineup after starting in right field, Brennan Hillier is on the mound for the Baycats and looking to re-emerge himself as the Baycats' #1 closer this year, Sam.
Yeah, he started off the season as the closer for the Barrie Baycats, pitching very well to start the season, but then Brad Grieveson kind of took his job. Hillier kind of struggled with a bit of command, but he's looking to rebound. We saw him in the outfield to start this game, but he comes back on the mound. If you're wondering why a player's allowed to leave the game and come back, we are in an exhibition game, and you are allowed to do that.
Gets the ground ball right back to him and retires Harrison Lamprey for the first out of the inning.
He's a fielder. He knows how to do the PFPs.
Exactly.
Number 13, Anthony Silvera.
As Anthony Silvera steps in, this 7th inning is brought to you by Psycho Solutions. Full automotive service from headlight to tailpipe.
Great name.
Great name.
Good line, too. Got some nice sponsor lines. The free fries, I heard that's going to start during the home
I'm excited
opener.
for that. And
Fans, if you're at the home opener and the Baycats strike out 5 batters, get yourself over to McDonald's.
I remember being on the
There's
road.
one right on Bayfield.
I remember being on the road with the team last year, as he did go there, so now it's 0-2, Anthony Silvera. And I remember being on the road last year with the Baycats and in Welland, actually, during the finals. And I didn't realize that the Jackfish had that same promotion at local McDonald's in Welland. And I was like, how did we not have this in Barrie? So now that we kind of have that available to us, definitely going to take advantage of that this year after some home games.
Definitely. So get yourself out to the ballpark. Also, just got the word from Josh Matlow yesterday. The first 250 fans to the home opener get a free t-shirt. Who doesn't like free t-shirts?
Ooh. Rough look there for Hillier on an 0-2 pitch. He hits Silvera. He'll make his way over to first. It's the first time since the first inning that Silvera has reached. He walked earlier in the game. Now here's Arhenis Paz, who only reached on a fielder's choice. Other than that, he's 0-3. First pitch to him is right down the middle for strike 1.
And of course, some other new things that are at the ballpark. Baycats Bucks. If you retrieve a foul ball during the game, you get 5 of them. And with 5 Baycats Bucks, you can get something from the merch booth. Also got a few more prizes to come that we can't announce yet. But very exciting.
Fly ball to center field, and Kinesijo is there to make the catch. No problem. 2 down.
Those Baycats Bucks will be pretty popular. They're like Monopoly money if you've seen them, Julius.
First baseman, number.
They're quite cool.
The more I hear about the new stuff at the ballpark this year, the more excited I am for the home opener this week against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, batting number 9, Warren Kemper.
And, Warren Kemper gets his second at-bat after pinch hitting. Ben Teplin.
Starting to rain a little bit harder here at the ballpark in the 7th inning. First pitch outside to Kembler. Strike 1 there. Nice outside corner pitch from Hillier. One pitch is low in the dirt. Nice scoop there from Hayden Jacob.
And to mention also, when Brandon Hillier is on, he is commanding the ball in the strike zone. And if he can do that, he's one of the best pitchers in this Baycats bullpen. Not just the bullpen, but the starting staff as well.
2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed.
Definitely going to be a weapon for Josh Matlow if he can get the command going.
Yeah, I've noticed that Hillier's been streaky at times. Sometimes he can be a dominant closer, and sometimes he's human. Another pitch in the dirt blocked by Jaco. It counts full. Ryan.
It was great to see some of the new arms coming in to pitch for the Baycats. Christian Lazar worked a few innings. Carlos Sano and Cesar Rosado had a few good innings together. And good to see for a Baycats team that during the playoffs lacked the consistent starts.
Line to right field. Rick Phillips is there again, and a leaping catch on the warning track to end the inning. Yet again, another fantastic defensive play from Rick Phillips in right field. Pitchers are going to love his defense out there this season for the Baycats. Still a 4-1 ball game, however, for the Thornhill Reds. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time for the first time at Vintage Throne Stadium this year. You're watching Baycats baseball on Baycats TV.
Zach Orchard.
Zach Orchard leads it off in the 7th inning here for the Baycats. There's a new pitcher in the ball game for the Thornhill Reds. It's Zach Lamprey, who moves over. He started the game at shortstop. He was briefly pinch hit for by David Schlosser, and now is on the mound.
Didn't have the greatest success on the mound last year. Pitched to an ERA over 14 in 6 1/3 innings pitched, but a two-way player nonetheless.
Yeah, it definitely looks like manager Nolan Revin's looking to get as much as he can out of his roster. You never know when you're going to need that flexibility throughout the season. And I believe that high ERA of over 14 could definitely be to maybe a bit of a control issue. Last year he faced 44 batters, gave out 5 walks and 4 hits batsmen to just 4 strikeouts. Popped up out of play by Orchard. And that in just 6 1/3 inning is not necessarily what you want to see from a guy that you might expect to be in an important situation down the stretch. But this is a perfect opportunity for him to get on track going into 2024. Full count to Orchard. Up and in. And a leadoff walk again for Zach Orchard.
Catcher number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
Here's Tyler Plumpton. He does stay in the game as a designated hitter. Ryan Rio did start the game as a DH, but went to first base. And again, it's an exhibition game, so the rosters are a bit more flexible than they otherwise would be in the IBL.
Yeah, normally you would lose that DH spot, but Plumpton slides in there at DH.
Plumpton's already down 0-1 in this count to Lamprey. Grounds that one, a little nubber out in front of the plate. Lamprey is quick to get there. And his throw is wide of first base. It looked like The new first baseman, Kember, had his foot on the bag as he caught the ball, but
Center fielder number 9.
umpire says no, and Plumpton's going to reach on an error. It's going to be an error charged to Lamprey. He got to the ball rather quickly, but his throw brought Kember off the bag, and you don't want to leave the free base runners on for Kenise Ejo, who can definitely do some damage here. The tying run is at the plate.
And again, normally this would be the 9 spot here, Evan Souls, but with the exhibition game, Josh Matlow has the luxury of shifting his lineup, maybe going with an 8-hitter approach as at the moment with Ejo coming up, but a great opportunity for the Baycats to get back in this game.
Lamprey, first pitch to Ejo, fouled it off his leg. Looks like it was foul off his leg, but Reds dugout doesn't seem to like that call, but they're laughing over there about it. Yeah. 0-1 to Ejo.
They're a loose bunch over in that third base dugout. They have the lead and great opportunity for him.
Zach Orchard at second base takes his lead. Plumpton at first. Pitch to Ejo. Cut and a miss. Strike 2. Lamprey really attacking the zone early in these counts. Not afraid to give up some contact when necessary. Driven out to center field. Kravis bats. Going to go back on it, and he can't get there. Just out of his reach. It goes all the way to the fence. Orchard rounds third. He will score. Plumpton is rounding. He's going to try and score. The throw in is not in time. Plumpton scores. Ejo into third base. It's going to be a double. He'll advance on the throw. The Baycats down by just 1 run with the tying run 90 feet away.
The shortstop, number 6.
And a great swing there from Kenise Ejo. As mentioned, he moved to third on the throw in, but Baycats are right back in this game with Kyle Maves up with a chance to drive in another run.
So Maves fouls the first pitch off out of play, and I will say Tyler Plumpton has scored 2 runs today, and that's going to be really great to see if you're Josh Matlow, knowing that recovering from a broken leg he suffered last season, that he's able to run hard and in those clutch situations when he needs to. That pitch is off the glove of Patrick Orr. Ejo scores. We have a tie game. 4-4 in the bottom of the 7th. Ejo scores on the pass ball.
And talking about Tyler Plumpton's 2 runs scored, he also had to leave the home opener last year after sliding in awkwardly to home plate. So it's good to see that he didn't have to slide on any of those plays, because the last time he did, around this time of the year, with the field not all in perfect shape, he had to leave the game. So good to see that he could avoid sliding and avoids injury for him there.
Reds manager Nolan Revin's out, and so is manager Josh Matlow, the Baycats, and having a discussion behind home plate. Not really sure what this one's about.
No. Trying to look to see if they're going to bring any more stuff out for the field, because you would think the conversation would be about the field and the weather.
I think I know what happened here. So I believe Nolan Revin finally realized that Matlow missed his 9 spot in the order. So the umpire just gave up the signal to our press box here. 1 out.
So yeah, I was wondering about that, because normally in an exhibition game you can go with an adjusted lineup, not normally 9 hitters if you want to go like that, but it looks like the umpire's going to charge the Baycats an out for that.
Yeah, totally understandable. I mean, if you're Nolan Revin, you still want to win this game, right? You have something to prove in this game. If you're Josh Matlow, you still want to win, because I know Josh Matlow's mentality is very much a winner's mentality. He wants to win. I was there for the home runs for the Hungary event last weekend, and he really wanted to win that game, and we ended up losing by 4 runs.
Great event last weekend as well. You can see some of the photos on our social media. Thank you to Kendra Doyle and Bob Hurley for taking those.
Maves walked, and it looks like Lamprey really lost his command in that at-bat. Last 3 pitches were all quite outside.
And my number 1 player of the game so far, granted he hasn't done the best at the plate, but 3 defensive plays, 2 in right and 1 in left. 2 diving catches, and then 1 up against on the warning track, a jumping catch, as you mentioned. So definitely a player that we've enjoyed seeing so far.
Great first impression from Rick Phillips. Takes his first pitch high, and I would imagine he's taking all the way here, letting Lamprey really find his command here. Phillips reached once, stole a base, but was left on in scoring position. Another pitch low, has it at 2-0.
And yes, Phillips hasn't reached base so far, but a couple of his outs have been loud ones. So he's really driving the ball. It's only a matter of time before he gets one to fall, or even go over the fence, knowing how much power he has.
Well, he's up 3-0. Could be a hitter's count. If he gets a good pitch here, see him swing at that one. And that's a 4-pitch walk for Phillips. Last couple of batters haven't gone the way Lamprey would have liked. He's going to get a mound visit here from his manager.
Ryan Rio.
We also want to welcome all the Thornhill Reds fans who may be watching the broadcast. Thank you for tuning into Baycats TV. And for Baycats fans, Ben Davey will be back on the call for you on the home opener with Julius Hearn. We look forward to that. And if you're coming to the ballpark, make sure to get here early to grab that T-shirt.
Can't wait for the home opener. It feels great to be back in the ballpark today, but the big-time IBL home opener is going to feel so much better. Maves dancing on second. Lucky he didn't slip and fall there. He has a couple times at the plate. Rio takes the first pitch for a ball, and that's 8 straight pitches outside the strike zone for Lamprey in the last few batters. And I wouldn't doubt that Rio's taking all the way again. Up and away, 2-0.
And if you're the Baycats, and they've done exactly that, just take pitches and work your counts and just look for something that you can hit. Obviously, you want to get your hacks in and you want to see the results. It puts you in a great mindset heading into the season. So Ryan there is just waiting for a pitch that he can absolutely crush.
2-0 pitch to Rio. Swing and a drive. Deep to center field. Bats going back. It is off the bottom of the wall. Bats just couldn't get there. Bats throws it in all the way into third base. One hopper in there to Anthony Silvera, and it's an RBI double for Ryan Rio. Maves scores, and the Baycats have their first lead of the ball game. It's 5-4.
Left fielder number 20, Nolan Makibroda.
There's Nolan Makibroda, another power hitter that has a chance here, and you saw on that Ryan Rio double once he gets his pitch. Rio knew how to turn on it, and I'm sure Makibroda's looking for the same thing. That one's just high. It's 1-1.
And as our statistician Gary Mason mentioned, Ryan Rio got a little bit unfortunate hitting that one to a deep part of this ballpark.
Well, Kravis Bats was headed straight for that 405 sign in center field, and just out of his reach, hit the bottom of the wall, kicked away from him a bit. And you knew that Maves and Phillips kind of had to hold up, make sure Bats was able to make that catch if he was going to. That one's through the left side of the infield. Macabroda drives in Phillips. It's a 2-run lead now for the Baycats.
And with his great bat, it's good to see Macabroda get on the board in the RBI column and the hit column.
Now a 5-run 7th inning here for the Baycats. And if you're Zach Lamprey, you're just hoping you can get out of this any way possible. He has a double play in order. Hayden Jaco, the 9th hitter of the inning, and that one's over his head. Nice catch there by the catcher.
And you mentioned one batter away from hitting a round. It's always not the funnest thing when you're scoring the game, but definitely if you're a Baycats fan, you want that to happen.
So 2-0 here. Lamprey struggling again to find the strike zone, and he's going to ask for another ball. It's about the 3rd time he's done that this inning. Still drizzling here at Vintage Throne Stadium. Not as hard as it was about an inning or so ago, but still a wet day here at the ballpark. 2-0 pitch. Lined up the middle and through for another base hit. Rio will score, and it's 7-4 Baycats.
Second baseman, number 35, Zach Orchard.
Zach Orchard will come up for the 2nd time in this inning. It's been a 6-run 7th inning for the Baycats, and thanks to 4 hits and 3 walks. And their only out was because they missed the 9 spot in their order, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was going to check myself on that. They technically haven't really batted around, but you know what? We'll call it that.
First strike taken there by Zach Orchard. He hasn't had a hit yet this game. He struck out in the 3rd inning and has walked twice since.
He's gotten in on the run parade, though. He scored his last time up in this inning, as you mentioned.
That last pitch by Lamprey was a great spot right in the outside corner. He's up 0-2 here, and that one's away. One-two pitch, fouled out of play on the right side.
You know, it was only a matter of time before this Baycats lineup got going, and granted, they have gotten a lot of walks this inning, but some great swings as well.
Orchard strikes out swinging there, and that's the first real out of the inning for the Baycats, but there is 2 away in the inning as Tyler Plumpton steps in.
44, Tyler Plumpton.
Plumpton reached on an error and scored in this inning. He takes the first pitch strike. But he scored twice. He walked in the 5th and eventually came around on Kinesijo's RBI single.
Plumpton in his 2nd stint with the Baycats came back to the team in 2021.
That one's on the ground. Hard hit. Nice play there by the shortstop Schlosser, who's into the ball game as a defensive replacement. He gets the out at second base. And we head to the 8th inning. The Baycats with a huge 6-run 7th inning. They have a 7-4 lead as we head to the 8th inning. You're watching Baycats baseball on Baycats TV.
For the Baycats, inning number 7, 6 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base.
Top of the 8th inning here at Vintage Throne Stadium. The first time the Reds will be up trailing in this ball game. The Baycats lead them 7-4 in this exhibition matchup, and a litany of defensive changes to catch you up on. Brandon Hillier is back in the game. He's an everyman today. He's behind the plate catching the new pitcher Ryan Lacasse. We'll get to him in a second. Nolan Macabrone is back at first base where he started the ball game, and so is Hayden Jaco. He started the ball game at third. He's back there. Tyler Plumpton is the other defensive change. He's in left field.
And Jacob Hillier is pinch hitting. Got 2 Hilliers in the game now.
One behind the plate, one at the plate.
Wonder if they're related.
However, I do want to highlight the new pitcher in the ball game, Ryan Lacasse, 19-year-old from Sudbury, Ontario. He's pitching at Laurentian University at the club varsity level. First pitch to Jacob Hillier's a ball.
Yeah, one thing that caught my eye about Ryan, he's one of those guys who uses the rubber balls as part of his training. And I saw him doing some stuff with that during media day, and it was quite interesting.
Popped into center field, and can you see Joe easily underneath that one to make the catch, one down. Lacasse, only 3 appearances for the Voyageurs earlier this season. 3 overall, and to an earned run average of under 2. 1.53 to be specific. In 17 2/3 innings, averaging almost 6 innings a start. Fairly impressive for him, and he was telling me a couple days ago at our media night as he gets the first pitch strike over there to Jack Gagliardi that this is the highest level of baseball that he's played in his career, and really hoping to take as much away from this experience as he can. 0-1 pitch, just low.
Yeah, he mentioned to me that he's really looking forward to this situation. He mentioned to both of us, actually, that he's quite excited to be on the Baycats roster and quite grateful for the opportunity that Josh Mantlo presented to him.
Fouled off onto the screen by Gagliardi. Mentioned that his record at OUA club varsity level, 1-1 this season through 3 games as he strikes out Gagliardi there for the second out. Good first impression so far for the 19-year-old from Sudbury, Ontario.
Center fielder
Definitely is.
Travis Batts.
And he looked very good in his live pitching on Thursday as well.
He's held batters to a 267 average in those 3 appearances in the fall. A whip of 1.47.
Love the passion from the few Baycats fans who have sticked it out here at the ballpark.
0-1 to Travis Batts. Now it's 0-2. Yo, 2 to Travis Batts. Outside for ball 1, and Batts again, another impressive performance. He singled and scored in the first inning, has walked twice since, but also had a possibly extra base hit stolen from him by Rick Phillips when he was in left field. A fantastic sliding catch to end that inning. Now 2-2 as that one's low, and still drizzling a little bit here, but not nearly as hard as it was a few innings ago. Two. Just high. Really tight call there from the home plate umpire, Lacasse, shaking his head. Now it's a full count. And if there's anyone you don't want to walk on this Reds lineup, it's Travis Batts.
Definitely not, especially with the speed he possesses on the bases and in the field.
3-2. Same pitch as the last one, just high, and Batts gets the free pass over to first base, so 2 down.
The shortstop, number 15, Zach Ledprea.
Bats takes the lead off, and he goes on the first pitch. And the throw gets past the past second base in the center field. Ejo backs it up, and Bats is easily going to third base there, and he gets there no problem. David Schlosser is the hitter. Kravis Bats, a very good heads-up base runner, gets himself all the way over to third base within a pitch of him being on base in the first place. Schlosser with an RBI opportunity here. 1-0 pitch is high and in. Schlosser had one previous at-bat in this ballgame, reached on a fielder's choice. So that pitch is low. 3-0 already. Cass possibly a bit rattled by the stolen base and the walk that preceded it. 3-0. It's up high and a 4-pitch walk this time to David Schlosser. Runners on the corners with 2 down.
And if you're Ryan Lacasse in this situation, you just got to focus up and just attack the strike zone. You've got a multiple run lead thanks to the big inning the Baycats had last half. And I'm sure if you're manager Josh Matley, you just want Lacasse to be attacking the strike zone here.
Just saw Evan Souls warming up in the bullpen. He's not throwing any more, but I would imagine he's the man that will get the 9th inning. Right now it's Harrison Lamprey.
Souls is another guy that if the opportunity does not present itself in the rotation for him, can definitely close games just because of his high strikeout stuff.
Attacks the zone with a lot of aggressiveness, and we've seen him in a lot of long relief roles last year's. Lamprey sees that pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. 1-1, pardon me. Remember last year that when Christian Mullins started the game here against Brantford and had to leave after 2/3 of an inning. Nice pitch there from Lacasse, 1-2. Souls came in relief and finished the game. Went 8 1/3 innings to finish the game and get the win against Brantford.
Dominating performance by Evan Souls. Up until the 9th inning, he hadn't even given up a run.
Yeah, he gave up a home run in the 9th inning in that game. But other than that, Red Sox really couldn't touch him. 2-2 now on Lamprey. Runners on the corners.
Lacasse got strike 2 on that off-speed pitch that he missed to the last batter, so see if he goes to it again.
2-2 is strike 3 called on the lowest part of the zone. Lamprey not happy with the call, but it's the last out of the inning for Lacasse, who gets out of it unscathed. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Baycats possibly looking to add on to their 7-4 score so far. And you're watching Baycats Baseball on Baycats TV. Welcome back to Vintage Throne Stadium. This 8th and 9th inning are brought to you by United Way Simcoe Muskoka, making poverty unignorable. To learn how you can help, you can visit uwsimcoemuskoka.ca. And we actually just had the 50-50 draw read by our PA announcer, Rob Daniels. So congratulations to our winner.
Should be an even bigger draw on Thursday.
Absolutely.
Along with raffle tickets, and I'm sure Kendra Doyle has some other things up her sleeve as the in-game host.
New pitcher in the ballgame for the Reds is Corey Levy. First pitch to Brendan Hillier, who's back in the 9 spot for the Baycats. The 1-0. That one's low, and Levy had a fair bit of the workload, the 3rd most used pitcher by the Reds last year. 39 2/3 innings, pitched to a 2.72 ERA. A guy you can expect to see for the Reds pretty often throughout the year as Hillier cuts and misses at that one.
Brendan Hillier had the first hit of the game for the Baycats, an infield single.
It takes strike 2 there, and surprising because Mac Major was dealing the first 3 innings. He had struck out 4 in a row leading up to Hillier's infield single, and before that, he'd retired 8 in a row. Two-two pitch. Hillier swings and misses. Strike 3. The first out of the inning for Corey Levy.
Center fielder number 9, Kenny Ejo.
Here's Kenise Ejo, who had a big inning in the 7th and a double and scored. Ended up scoring on a pass ball. But a couple RBIs on his double and has made his night so far. He also singled and had 2 steals in the 5th inning. And he takes the first strike there. Quick 0-1 pitch from Levy's down the dirt. Ejo's had a pretty eventful offseason. He played in the California Winter League in preparation for the IBL season. He actually won the championship with his team, the Grizzlies. 1-1 pitch. That one's high. He's telling me that his experience in California was fantastic. He was really happy to do it. If you've seen his social media over the offseason, his training has been superb. You can tell that this guy wants a bit more juice in his bat this year. 2-1 is high as well. 3-1 now.
And with the 2-run double, his last at-bat, he's off to a good start.
We mentioned it earlier. The Baycats have seemed to have added more power to their lineup this year with the additions of Matt Cabrota and Zach Orchard and even Rick Phillips to a certain extent, as that one's driven to center field. The Kravis Bats has got a beat on it, and he makes the catch for the second out. As I was saying, it seems like Ejo might be wanting to be a part of that possible home run party that the Baycats might have in the middle of their lineup at some point this year.
No doubt, absolutely. I mean, Ryan Rio, we saw what a season he had last year, adding Rick Phillips and Nolan Macabrota, and then Noah Hall, who's supposed to join the team in a few games. Add Kenise Ejo to that list. At least that's what he wants.
Well, he's got the speed. He's definitely got the average for it. Here's Kyle Maves, another guy who's put up a high average. Great contact hitter. He walked and scored his last time up last inning.
And Kyle Maves is a guy who's going to hit the ball to all fields. We've seen him hit a couple opposite field doubles in last year's playoffs and then pull the ball for extra base hits as well.
He always seems to find that open spot that you wouldn't think would be touched. He's already ahead 2-0 in this at bat, and he walked on 4 pitches his last time up, and that's the only time he's reached thus far. He's grounded out 3 times since, or before that, pardon me. Takes first strike of the at bat. I'd be curious to see if he makes contact. If Maves makes contact on something here, he's slipped out of the batter's box the last couple times when the ball's been in play, so be curious to see that. But he has no issue here. He drives it to center field for a base hit. First hit of the ball game for Maves, and that's got to be something he's quite happy about.
Fielder number 2, Ricky Phillips.
So here's Rick Phillips, who's been a star defensively in this ball game. A few highlight reel catches already. 2 of them in right field, 1 of them in left. And a couple walks thus far today and a stolen base. A hit would probably complete his day as he fouls that one off. That one's going to get out of play on the right side.
Yeah, he's got everything else. He's got the defensive plays, and he's got the run already. He scored in that big 7th inning for the Baycats, and now looking for his first hit of the game.
Well, he's had a good approach thus far. He lined out to center field in the 6th inning and flew out to right in the 1st. So he's had a couple good cuts and good contact, but nothing to show for it. As Maves with an easy steal as the ball goes into center field. He's going to take off for 3rd. Bats with the throw, is not going to be in time. Maves, stolen base, and he capitalizes on the ball getting past second base. Now Rick Phillips with a great opportunity here with another run 90 feet away with 2 out.
And that's going to be a stolen base for Maves, as mentioned. That'll probably be a throwing error on the catcher, which allows him to get into 3rd as Gary Mason, our point streak operator. How about I call you that? Correct. Proves.
The 1-1 pitch here from Phillips. Phillips takes it high. It's 2-1. And
well, Rick's already walked today, so we know that he's got a good eye at the plate. He's going to wait for a pitch that he likes.
well, he takes that one again. That one's just high above the zone. 3-1, and he might be looking at another walk here. (3-1). Low and in the dirt. Phillips manages his 3rd walk of the game. And now there's 2 on, and who better for the Baycats to be up in this situation than Ryan Rio? Rio had a line drive to center field in the 7th that many of us thought was going to get out of the ballpark, but it was to the deepest part of the park and off the bottom of the wall, and ended up being a 2 RBI double.
And one swing here could put this game out of reach, possibly.
Well, he swings and misses at that one. And nice pitch there from Levy, pardon me. Be curious to see if Phillips goes here. No one's really all that close to second base, but and he does. Pitch is high, and Phillips is going to get there standing up.
The Baycats are definitely showing off some great speed on the bases today.
Well, they weren't getting anything off of Mac Major. As soon as the Reds started to go to their bullpen, they started chipping away offensively, and it all culminated in a 6-run 7th inning. That has the Baycats up 7-4. That's a fly ball in the left field, and Rio's not happy about it. Left fielder Gagliardi's over and makes the catch to end the bottom of the 8th. But we head to the 9th. Last chance for the Reds. They're down 3. It looks like Evan Souls will be coming in for the Baycats on the mound. We'll check in with him when we come back. You're watching Baycats Baseball on Baycats TV. Last chance for the Thornhill Reds in the 9th inning. They're down 3, and they got the 4, 5, 6 hitters in their lineup. Harrison Lamprey will lead it off against Evan Souls, who was in the ball game earlier. He played a little bit of third base. He had an at-bat. Now he's closing this one out, a save opportunity.
Souls pitched in Australia this winter, Julius.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to ask him about that. And he said he really enjoyed the experience. He had that opportunity presented to him, and he couldn't say no to it. He was really excited to just get out there and get that little bit extra travel experience. And looks like so far it's prepared him well for the IBL season, but only time will tell when we get to regular season play. It's already up 0-2 here on Lamprey. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled off again, out of play on the right side.
Watch out on the walkway just beyond the trees, heading down the first base line. Don't think there's going to be too many people walking in this weather, but you never know.
Well, the weather has cooperated as much as we would have liked it to. That one's driven into right field. Rick Phillips has tested again. He's not going to be able to get there. It actually gets past him, and he gets it onto the warning track. Lamprey is going to stroll into second base with a stand-up double to lead off the 9th inning.
Third baseman, number 13. Correction, number 23. Now batting, number 23, Mitch Sadowski.
We got a mound visit here from Brandon Hillier to Evan Souls. Don't often see Brandon Hillier with the catcher's gear on, but the pitcher might know what a pitcher likes best. Mitch Sadowski is the pinch hitter for the Reds with an RBI opportunity. Harrison Lamprey is the man on second base after his leadoff double. We mentioned the weather is held off as much as possible to get a full game in here. I would not have guessed that we would have gotten a full 9 in when 4 o'clock rolled around, and had a little bit of a delay with the tarps on the mound and around home plate. And we even saw around the 5th, 6th inning, the grounds crew had to put some quick dry around there. And that one's grounded to second. Orchard makes the play over to first for the first out of the inning. Lamprey moves over to third base.
And if you're the Baycats, you'll just take the out in that situation, one away, and they're going to still play the infield back as they're just looking for outs to close this one.
Well, if you're Evan Souls, I think the best case scenario is just keeping that tying run on deck, and he's done that so far, even with a man on. First pitch to Angelis Paz is a ball. Liner into center field. It's dropping. McKinney-Ejo's there, makes the catch, and holds the runner at third base. No shot there with a throw from Ejo, and Lamprey, not the best speed on the Reds by any means, but could have kept it.
Number 9, Warren Kemper.
Could have kept it a bit closer for the Reds, but now they're down to their last out.
Well, that's the other thing about Ejo. He also has an elite arm in center field, and no point in wasting that to make the final out of the ball game.
Well, here's Warren Kemper. Came in as a defensive replacement at first base for Ben Teplin, and that ball's going to get away and all the way to the screen for Hillier. Lamprey will score. It's a 2-run ball game. Now the tying run is on deck again.
And that'll be scored a wild pitch.
First run for the Reds since the second inning, actually. They had a 3 spot in the first and added another in the second, and since have been held off the board by a couple great defensive plays. Like we've mentioned, Rick Phillips has been the story of this game defensively, but some great pitching by many Baycats pitchers today. Now it's 2-0. That one's outside again.
Interested to see how the rotation sorts its way out heading into the regular season.
1-0 pitch. Just outside, and Kemper actually has a hit in this game. His first at-bat was a leadoff single in the 6th inning, and followed that up with a line out to right field. That was a defensive gem by Rick Phillips in right field. That one ended the 7th. 3-0 pitch in there for strike 1. Souls working quickly as usual. 3-1. Line foul down the right side off the screen. Counts full.
And again, watch out in that Baycats first base dugout as it almost missed coming close again.
Well, they had a couple close calls. There was one in the first inning off the railing right in front of the dugout. Scary situation could have been, but nobody hurt, fortunately. Down to the last strike. Here's Warren Kemper. Ground ball foul. Third base side this time. Evan Souls trying to keep that tying run on deck. Close this one out for the Baycats. The payoff pitch. Curveball outside. Kemper with a free pass. That's going to bring up Jacob Hillier as the tying run.
Now batting for the Reds, number 35, Jacob Hillier.
First pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. That's exactly what you want to see if you're Baycats from Evan Souls. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Runner goes. It's fouled out of play. Kemper would have had a defensive indifference there, but he's got to go back to first base.
Yeah, the Baycats are not exactly worried about the base runner in this situation. They're just worried about the guy at the plate because he is the tying run, as you mentioned.
Down to the last strike again. Evan Souls looking to finish this one off. The pitch, just high. Runner gets second base, no problem. Souls steps off. The 1-2 coming from Evan Souls. Outside, ball 2. Souls had 1 save last year. It was in the playoffs. Other than that, no saves in his IBL career. 2-2. Swung on and missed. That's your ball game. The Baycats, on the back of a 6-run 7th inning, steal this one from the Thornhill Reds by the final score of 7-5. Evan Souls with the save. Fantastic performance all around. Some of the great pitching from the Baycats. They used 8 different pitchers. Christian Lazar, the only one to go multiple innings, and all came down to batting around in the 7th inning. Baycats will be back Thursday night for the IBL season opener here at Vintage Throne Stadium against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'll be here with you alongside Ben Davey on the broadcast for first game of the 2024 IBL season. But until then, for myself, Sam O'Coin, I'm Julius Hearn. So long from Vintage Throne Stadium.